And I want to first start by saying to my colleague just how proud I am of you for that speech. I don't know if that means anything, but I'm just really in awe of what you just said, because you really made the case as to why we should vote for this bill. This should be a no-brainer. There's not a whole lot to think about when we have people dying on our sidewalks throughout the city at an enormous rate here in the city of Philadelphia. We have to do something. And we can't leave it up to industry to do something about a problem that they have taken a hands-off approach to. They have stepped away from this problem. They have done nothing, and all along could have done many, many, many things to address this issue. And so I just want to say that this has been quite an interesting process. Councilmember Greenlee and I have held this bill. We've held numerous meetings with the pharmaceutical industry and others. We've added some of their amendments, and we've hoped all along for some form of compromise. Nothing. We could have proceeded in December, but in that same spirit of compromise, we held. Meanwhile, the same folks who asked us to work with them and assured us that they would bring something back to the table if we held back in December, spent that time, rather than working with us, lobbying members of this body with claims of doom and destruction over an inability to buy lunches and give gifts to doctors. Truth be told, we can point to doom and destruction happening right now in our city, although it's not as visible to most, because it's, as we say, in the cut. Outside and far away from most of our center city sidewalks is the destruction that is occurring in the lives of people who have been on the receiving end of heavily written prescriptions that have led us down this path. We didn't arrive here by some sort of mistake or happenstance. In a legislative body in which we always say we put people in front of profits, I don't see how we can vote against this bill. I want to ask that members vote their conscience and vote what makes sense. I ask the members to vote for this bill. It's the right thing to do. It is going to make a difference, and it's going to be on the right side of history. A couple of things I just wanted to address besides that. One of the speakers on behalf of the industry said that they were committed on this issue. Well, I haven't seen it. Councilman Greenlee hasn't seen it. The city of Philadelphia isn't seeing it. We don't see any commitment to this city in terms of doing something, anything significant about the opioid or addictive drugs beyond opioids, because we know that opioids are on the way out and that other drugs are on the way in. And so what is being done? Absolutely nothing by industry. We have no support, no help for this crisis that we are dealing with every single day. The other thing I wanted to address was a letter that went around that said essentially that this bill doesn't do anything. This was from the industry. Well, if the bill doesn't do anything, what's the problem with passing it? If the bill doesn't mean anything, if it's such a marshmallow, what is the problem? And so, you know, Councilman, I am going to disagree with you on one thing you said, and that was that when we met with these folks that we got played. I don't think we got played. We did our jobs. We did the right thing. We tried to find a spirit of compromise. We tried to work with folks who said they wanted to work with them. You can only take people at their word, and if their word isn't worth anything, then what can you do about that? And so we didn't get played, but a whole lot of other people got played. And so now it's time to vote and to see where folks are. And again, I just want to ask members of this body to vote their conscience and be on the right side of history. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman.